Lesbian detectives, unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now, lesbian detective. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready to go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the lesbian detectives.
This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with a new episode and a new week and a new month. It is actually July the 4th when this episode hit. And please, guys, tell me your plans for the 4th because ours is kind of low-key. I just want to relax, eat barbecue, and drink margaritas. That's it. And pop firecrackers, but of course. But I kind of just want to chill. We had a busy couple weeks, and I'm like, let's just chill. Because my wife made me help her put up a TV. It was like 85 inch. Yes, my wife likes big TV. If I bring home a 45 inch, she'll be like, what is this? I can't see off this little bit TV. And she got good eyesight, so. I'm the one that's blind. Like, our old TV was, what, 55?
65.
65. Oh, it was 65. I still couldn't see. Like, I could see, like, blurriness, guys, but, like, I'm just blind.
After an 85, you can't go back.
I mean, we can't because the TV's so big. We had company over there. We're like, oh my God. So let's start the episode. In the uncomfortable hot summer of 1989, in the heart of the city known for its restless energy and heavy shadows, two toddlers vanished within months of each other, disappearing from the same playground, under striking similarities. Their names are now etched in the cold memory of the community that has never fully healed. Their faces frozen in time, hunting age progression photograph, waiting for recognition. The first disappearance unfolded on a crowded Thursday evening. A young boy, no more than 2 years old, was playing happily with family nearby. The air was filled with laughter. The rustle of leaves, the echo of footsteps on concrete. In that moment, everything seemed ordinary. But in less than half an hour, the boy was gone. A flash of red, a ball he hadn't brought may have been a bait. A stranger may have called his name. Eyes turned away, and he vanished. Weeks later, another Thursday, another young child just learning to walk was brought to the same park. He was quiet, sweet, and adorable. Shortly after arriving, two older children approached and asked to play with him. They were insistent. Minutes later, while his mother's attention was briefly pulled away by a stranger who spoke of a crime and kidnapping, the toddler disappeared. Just like the other boy, without a scream, without a trace. Witnesses described a man seen walking away with a child. A composite sketch was made. The man wore a yellow shirt, acid-washed jeans, and he was never identified. Theories swirl like wind-blown paper on Harlem's sidewalk. Some whisper of babies selling rings, of children taken to childless couples in a distant place. Others suspected decoys, distractions, a network on those who prey on innocence. A third child had gone missing the same year. His mother found murdered in Brooklyn. He was never found. These similarities were unsettling. Police explored every possibility. They drained ponds, they scoured buildings, they knocked on doors. No blood, no bodies, no demand. Just two empty spaces and family photos, two small spirits swallowed by the cities. The lead investigators believe the boys were taken by someone who wanted a child, someone who couldn't adopt, who instead stole a life and reshaped it. Fraudulent papers, new name, a different state, a different story. Years passed, faces were aged, images circulated, but answers never came. The playground still stands, the park is still there, and so is the silence. Two boys, two mothers, one endearing questions. How can someone disappear in plain sight? And still they wait, not just with grief, but with faint flickering hope that somewhere and someone will remember something, and that the lost will be returned. This is the case of Christopher Dansby and Shane Walker. In the summer haze of 1989, the streets of Harlem pulsed with a rhythm both warm and relentless. For family living in the Martin Luther King Jr. Towers, life wasn't easy, but it was tight-knit. Grandmothers raised children while mothers worked long hours. Siblings and cousins grew up more like best friends. The building stretched high, houses hundreds of families who watched out for each other as best as they could. The 1980s were a gritty chapter in the New York long history. Crack cocaine raved neighborhoods, crime soars, and the city trembled under the weight of violence and poverty. Yet, for all its danger, there was a community, there was love. And there was a small fence in a park of 113 streets and Lenox Avenue where children laughed, ran, and played. It was the kind of place where a child laughter rang out like music against the sound of sirens in the distance. Allison Dansby was 26 in 1989. She lived in the tower with her sons, 3-year-old Levon and 2-year-old Christopher Dansby, affectionately named Choo Choo. Christopher was born on March 30th, 1987, was a curious, happy child. He adored his mother and Aunt Caroline. He loved to cuddle and was already learning to talk. He said Mama and Levon and light up every time Allison entered the room. Caroline remembered how attached he was to both her and his mother. Allison came from a large family. Her mother, Elizabeth, along with Allison's siblings and cousins, all lived in the same complex. She often said it takes a village to raise a family. And there were, it really did. Harlem was struggling, yes, but families held each other up. People tried their best to live a decent life amid the chaos. Christopher was a boy who loved outside. On the eve of Thursday, May 18, 1989, Allison took both of her sons to the park. They played on the slide. It was hot, crowded that day. Family members were there, including Elizabeth and Caroline. The park, as usual, was buzzing with people. Christopher had a blast, especially on the big slide, which Allison helped him down. They walked around the park, enjoying the warm evening. Then Allison decided to run to the store to buy crabs for dinner. She didn't have a stroller. She left the boys with Elizabeth and other family members. Before leaving, she knelt down and hugged Christopher. He wrapped his little arms around her and said, "I love you, Mommy." It would be the last time she saw her son. When Allison returned around 30 minutes later, the park was still full. She scanned the crowd for her mother and her sons. Elizabeth and Levon was there. Christopher wasn't. Panic crept in quickly. Allison asked where he was. Caroline had seen him moments earlier playing with a red ball. But he hadn't brought a ball to the park. Someone else thought he was with his cousin. Elizabeth had seen him moments before, too. But then she looked away briefly to talk to a friend. In the time it took for one adult to glance away, Christopher was gone. The search began. They searched frantically down Lenox across to 115th Street, around every bench, every corner. The police were called. The search began immediately. Inspector Ken led the investigation. He remembered how seriously it was taken. This wasn't just another case. A child was missing. Ken was the head of Manhattan North Homicide Squad, a seasoned investigator who had worked on some of the city's most difficult cases. But this one felt different. There was no crime scene, no body, just a child vanished into thin air. Police combed through the complex, 10 towers, each with multiple apartments and 14th floor. They knocked on doors, questioned everyone. Helicopters flew overhead. Dogs picked up Christopher's scent, leading down Lenox to 110th Street. Then nothing. They searched Harlem Mere and Central Park, fearing he might have fallen into the pond. Divers found nothing. Rumors began to swirl. Some said Allison's past struggles with addiction meant she might have sold her son. Others whispered about drug debts or a family dispute. Allison once used crack cocaine, but she was in recovery at this time. I was an addict, she admitted, but I love my children. I would never hurt them. Police looked into Christopher's father, Milton Robbins. He lived in Florida, and he never been involved in Christopher's life. But he returned to cooperate with police. He was ruled out. A vendor confirmed that Allison had indeed gone to the store and bought crabs, just like she said. Then a young boy came forward. He had seen Christopher walking with a man on 111th Street. Another family member claimed to see him the next day, holding hands with a man near a local school. But the man was never identified. Witnesses described the man as light-skinned black male, 19 to 24 years old, and about 5'8" inches, wearing a yellow shirt and an acid-wash jeans. He was seen walking with a child matching Christopher's description. Despite a compulsive sketch and canvassing, the man was never found. Police believe that the man individuals may have been involved in the disappearance of Christopher, but no credible leads has ever surfaced.
Just 3 months later, Rosa Glover brought her only child, Shane Walker, to that same park. Rosa had never expected to be a mother. After years of thinking it wasn't possible, Shane came into her life. A soft, quiet boy with braided hair, Shane was 19 months old in August 1989. He still sucked on bottles. He loved teddy bears and monkeys. He didn't talk yet, but he didn't need to. His presence filled Rosa's world. On Thursday, August the 10th, Rosa did what she often did on her day off. She took Shane to the park. The day was warm. The park was busy. Before arriving, she stopped at a store and bought him some chips. They walked through the gate. Almost immediately, 2 children approached, a 10-year-old girl and a 6-year-old brother. They wanted to play with Shane. Rosa hesitated. She always kept him close, but the kids insisted. They said he was cute. They didn't mind his age. Finally, she agreed. Shane toddled off towards the slide with them. A man sat next to her on the bench. He started a conversation. We talked about crime, about kidnappings, showed her scars from fights. Rosa turned to look at his arm. The timing couldn't have been more suspicious. Rosa always felt something was off about that man. He came out of nowhere and started speaking about kidnapping and crime, an eerie foreshadowing of what would unfold minutes later. She would later describe him as being too friendly, too chatty. Police tracked him down and questioned him thoroughly, but he was ultimately cleared. Still, Rosa could never shake the feeling that his presence had been a part of a distraction. When she turned back, Shane was gone. And just like that, she screamed, searched, ran around the park. The children came back through a hole in the fence without Shane. They claimed they'd left him in the park, but Rosa knew better. Police arrived, interviews, search teams, again, another sweep, another family devastated. The two children who had taken Shane to the slide were interviewed multiple times. Police considered them possible decoys. The theory was chilling. Had someone coached them to lure Shane away? Were they manipulated by someone more sinister? The children insisted that they had only played with him. When they turned around, they said he had simply wandered off. Their parents were also interviewed. Their backgrounds were checked, but nothing tied them to any abduction. And yet, it remained a mystery. Why had they insisted so strongly on playing with Shane that day? It was the same park, same day of the week, same time of day, same demographic, same building, same mystery. Two little boys, two disappearances, no trace. Inspector Lindell and his team investigated every lead. They reopened Christopher's case alongside Shane's. The NYPD formed a task force. The disappearance made headlines. A $30,000 reward was offered. They explored theories ranging from family dispute to drug debts to child trafficking. Around that time, reporter Mary Murphy began hearing talk about a possible baby selling ring. Some Harlem residents believed the children were abducted and sold on the black market, possibly to childless couples in the South. Another case that same year, Andre Bryant, a missing black child whose mother Monique Rivera was found murdered in Brooklyn. Andre was never found. Inspector Lindell acknowledged the rumors and said the theory was explored. However, he believed such an operation would be difficult to execute and sustain. Adoption experts also noted that adopting a black child in New York wasn't difficult, casting doubt on the theory. Still, for parents desperate for answers, no theory could be dismissed. For Rosa, the investigation was all-consuming. 2 detectives came to her apartment every day. Her phone was tapped in case a ransom call came in. Cops were stationed inside her home around the clock, but there were no calls, no ransom, just silence. The disappearance occurred before surveillance cameras were common. In a densely packed area like Harlem, the abductor could have easily slipped away unseen. The lack of physical evidence and credible leads frustrated even the most seasoned investigators. Still, hope remained. There were reports citing of both children across the U.S. and even in the Caribbean. Some believed the boys had been taken by someone desperate for a child, someone unable to adopt, who decided to raise a stolen child as their own. Lindell suspected they were raised far from New York, under different names, with fake birth certificates. Robert Lowry, vice president of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, admitted that after 30 years, the chances of finding the boys alive were slim, but not impossible. He pointed to the case of Carolina White, who was abducted from a Harlem hospital in 1987 and found alive in 2011. Carolina had always suspected she wasn't who she was told she was. After finding a forged birth certificate, she investigated and discovered her own identity. There have been sightings over the years in the U.S., in the Caribbean, nothing confirmed, but still hope remains. Forensic artists have aged their pictures. Shane has a scar underneath his chin and a liver-shaped birthmark on his back. Christopher has a figure 8 birthmark on his right leg. Every Christmas, pictures of both boys are hung on a tree at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Rosa keeps those pictures. They're all she has. Allison says, "We never stop looking for you. We never stop loving you. And we're just hoping and praying that you're okay, wherever you're at." Maybe one day, someone will look in the mirror and wonder why the face staring back feels unfamiliar. Maybe a man in his 30s will remember a birthmark, a scar, or a moment from childhood. Maybe, just maybe, Christopher and Shane will come home. Until then, 2 mothers waited, not just with grief, but with love and with hope. Before we end this case, let's sit back and remember the two young boys that went missing, dear Christopher and Shane. You were just babies when you disappeared, barely tall enough to climb the slide, barely old enough to string full sentences together. Yet somehow, all these years later, your names still echo through Harlem like a prayer left unanswered. Christopher, your mother called you Choo Choo. You were playful and sweet, a boy who loved to laugh and hold on tight to your mom and aunt. That day in May 1989, your mom knelt to hug you before she went to the store. You wrapped your arms around her and said, "I love you, Mommy." It was your last goodbye. You were gone just 30 minutes later from the park filled with people, with your grandmother only feet away. One moment you were playing with a red ball. The next, you had vanished. Shane, you were Rosa's miracle baby, 19 months old, with braided hair and a quiet spirit. Your mom took you to that same park just a few months later, on another warm Thursday afternoon in August. Two children were asked to play with you. A man sat on a bench and started talking to your mother about kidnappings, crime words that chilled her in hindsight. Then she looked away, and just like Christopher, you were gone. No screaming, no sound, just gone. You never even met each other, but your stories are forever tied. Same park, same year, same heartbreak. Police searched the towers, drained the ponds, and knocked on doors. They followed the dogs down Lenox Avenue. They brought in helicopters, tapped phones, and interviewed witnesses. Some say they saw you, Christopher, holding hands with a man in acid-washed jeans. Someone else said they saw you, Shane, right before you slipped away behind a fence. There were whispers about baby selling rings, about desperate people wanting children of their own. Harlem was filled with grief, fear, and anger, but still, no answers. Inspector Lindell remembered both your names. Even years later, he never forgot. He believed maybe, just maybe, you were taken by someone who'd raised you as their own. Maybe you were given new names, false birth certificates, and new lives in some distant state or country. Maybe you've always felt like something didn't add up, and maybe one day you'll start to ask why. Your face have aged. Your photos still hang on the Christmas tree at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Your mom kept every poster, every sketch, every scrap of hope. They never stopped searching, never stopped praying. You are not forgotten. You never were. So, if you're out there, if some part of you has always wondered, know this. You were loved from the moment you were born. You are still loved now. Come home when you're ready. With all our hearts, we remember you. We miss you. We believe in you. Your family, your city, and the people who never gave up. This is the case of Christopher Dansby and Shane Walker. Now let's get into some theories.
Theories.
Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives. What type of thoughts you thinking? What theories running through your mind? I'm thinking all types of suspicion. Uncover the truth, what we can find. Witness say they saw somebody creeping out the back door. What you think they did it for? That's so crazy, I'm not sure. They found a car, where could she be? Here go another puzzle piece. Researching through your history. It's plenty unsolved mysteries. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories, yeah. Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives.
You or me?
Good.
This one is so many theories. I mean, guys, I watched a lot of Criminal Minds as a kid, and it seemed like a Criminal Minds episode. Like, two little boys go missing on the same exact day, around the same exact time, with both single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
And where Rosa is so sad because I always feel like she couldn't have kids. Like, she would never be a mother. And she only had her son in her arms for 19 months. And that's so sad. I mean, it's sad for Allison too. She had 2 boys. She just went to the store and like she trusted her family members to watch her son. And which things happen. You have a friend come in like, oh, and you like turn your head just for a second and that kid is gone. And to me, I'm like, okay, here's my first theory. They kidnapped Christopher, but something happened with him. And I don't know if he didn't act right. Like, okay, let's go to that same park and get another little boy. I'm not saying like, oh, Christopher is deceased. Don't know. Hope he's not. But I mean, it is a possibility. Like something didn't happen with him. That's why they went and got Shane.
Okay.
The second one is with that man. I was like, I'm with Rosa. I'm stuck on that man. He sit down and he starts talking about crime and kidnapping and all that stuff about kids getting hurt. And he like, look at my scars. And it's like, no offense, they act so fast because you think about it. She only turned her head for a second to look at the scars. This thing, it probably was only 45 seconds that she probably looked at that scar, not even long. And somebody snatched her son that fast. And I'm like, man, like they had to do this before because how well it worked for each kidnapping. It didn't seem like it was a first time
Right.
because Shay's mama was right there watching. She watching like a hawk. And she just turned for like 45 seconds and her baby gone like that. I do feel like it was a team. I feel like it was a team.
Right.
I feel like it was a man and a woman. For some reason, that man who sat by her, I do think he's involved. I feel like when Shane got taken and Christopher, they both got taken, they probably hid them somewhere in a different location. So when the police did come and talk to him, you know, they wouldn't find, or he could have been in that basement, or, you know, we don't even know. He could have been in that house. And the police didn't even look that hard.
Right.
So, I mean, it probably looked hard because, you know, the police really was like trying to find these kids, but he could have had him in a wall. You don't even know. But it's like, I'm stuck with this one because it's so many possibilities. Or they were sold. And I feel like the sold one is more a bigger possibility to me. Because how well they work together to get the boys out in such a quick manner. They did this before.
Yeah, I actually believe that it is a baby selling ring. The kids that were playing with Shane, they were part of it. And I almost want to say, like, it could be the black market, or it could be trafficking, human trafficking, or they could sell babies to families that want one and aren't able to adopt because of criminal records or who knows what the issue is. I do believe it was a ring. Now, the only thing that I can't understand is why would they go to the same park?
Right.
That doesn't make sense because the police is already on high alert looking for Christopher. And maybe that was the distraction. And they had thought it out very well because Shane's mother would go at the same time every day, like a routine. And it happened at the same time with Christopher too. The only difference was Christopher's mom wasn't there. It was his grandma. But I don't know if she actually even had a stranger. Maybe that same stranger talked to her. And those same kids might have snatched Christopher too. Like, she really didn't have too much information on what happened. But it could be a thing. And then they came out of a fence. It's like everything was already like planned out. What if the home was really close to the park? And that way, like, they could just crawl through a fence and get to the destination that they wanted to. And then after that, they would probably transport them somewhere else. Because I feel like that is the case. Maybe that was just kind of like the holding location. It was something easy. There was no cameras. They were familiar with the area, familiar with the families that would go, the kids that would go. They already knew what they wanted. And they just needed, like you said, a couple minutes, couple seconds to snatch these kids. I do feel like the kids were part of it and they're not able to speak because they're victims themselves. They don't know how to escape, or they're being threatened. They've been brainwashed. They don't know what is real and what is not. They've been through so much abuse that they don't want to test their luck anymore. So it really depends who's willing to pay for what.
Right.
At the end of the day, I feel like they kidnap way more kids.
Yeah.
Not just, I don't believe like something specifically happened to Christopher like you. I just feel like supply and demand type thing. They want to have more kids to be able to make some more money. And it's so sad, but
I wonder if the mothers was being watched.
yeah.
And I wonder if the moms, I know like it's so many years ago, but I wonder because I feel like they probably would know, but I wonder if they could ever just sit down and go through like where they both took their kids and try to see where it kind of connect, because it probably is a hunting ground. Like I feel like the part people like, oh, it's a hunting ground. I don't feel like it was the part because they had to know, okay, they had to go for a single mom. I'm to be honest, the easiest one to go for a single mom, not a 2-parent household, because that's more police, more effort, all that's just a little bit more difficult for them to go for a 2-parent household to me.
Right.
And then also a low income family.
Yeah.
You have like, I feel like they really watch the mom or even the mom schedule to see like, hey, did we go to this, like whatever like lined them up together. Like even though we know they live in the same apartment complex, they went to this park, but somewhere they met this kidnapper and they probably didn't even they probably passed by or even say hi or look at this man or woman, and they probably didn't even realize it. Because he had to, these kids came and played. It's other kids at the park, right? It's other kids at the park. But he came and sat down by Rosa and was talking to her. He knew okay, this is a girl, this is a boy I'm going for. How organized they are, they had to watch the mothers. They had to.
They've done it too many times that they already know. It's crazy because they had just taken their kid, and then this stranger came by and started talking and was trying to get her to look at his scars so she could turn around. I feel like if they want to get to the bottom of this case, they need to investigate that man. I know that he has an alibi or he was cleared or this and that, but if it's a group of people doing this, you're not going to be able to just clear one person and think that that's the end of it. It's like the kid, I feel like, goes from hands to hands to hands to the next person. And so he's part of it. But if you keep an eye on him, he can probably lead you to the next person.
I feel like the police, they interviewed him a couple of times and they didn't have the evidence. I really wish they stayed on him. Hey, the cop really followed him around because he needs the money. He needs to act again. He needs to, even though, they said that the kids that went to their parents and stuff like that, they talked to their parents, they check everything out. But what if their parents was involved? The ring, people say trafficking rings are so big.
Yes.
So those kids was a part. Their parents probably was a part of the ring too. So it's
Right.
I feel like the police, they look, but they probably didn't have the technology that we had now. I want somebody in cold case to look at this case now and okay, let me get this technology. Let me go through their bank. Let me see what kind of house. Because if they was really trafficking kids, they moved up in the world. Trust me.
I feel like they should have, like you said, just dug deeper. They already had the people there that they needed to investigate, and they cleared them out too quick. They should have also still kept an eye on the kids, on the parents of the kids, and on especially the man that was distracting Shane's mom.
Because when the grandmother Elizabeth said he was playing with a red ball, and mom my son didn't have a red ball. He's 2. It's not hard. Give him a ball. Okay, you want to play the ball? Keep going. And definitely, he probably will go more with a kid than an adult. And it's crazy because them kids kept going for Rosa. Kept saying hey, let him go play. She nah. She kept saying I feel like she had that feeling, but she's I'm gonna watch him. I'm gonna watch him. I think when that man sat down and just kept talking to her, she was getting that feeling, but she looked down, and that's when it happened. Because she just looked down, because Rosa was like that mom, I'm gonna stay in guard. Because we take our daughter to the park and we do have kids come up and ask can they play with her. My daughter's not really the friendliest, so the kids just give up. They're okay, she's not playing with us no more.
Yeah, but just notice that the ball was a luring method. The kids were also used to lure. It was all about luring them and distracting them so they could snatch them. It's the same technique, same time. I feel like it's the same people or the same group.
And the fence in the hole. You remember she said the kids came back from the hole? I wonder Rosa they could have went through the hole, see what's there, try to look around for anything. Because for his scent to go away that quick, Christopher's scent to go away on a certain street, it seemed like he probably got in a car and they drove off because that's how, it happens.
Right.
I don't know. I do believe it's like a trafficking ring. Like talking to you, like my theories are going down. Trafficking ring. And if they are in one, it is a big possibility they could be soft because if they put their DNA in a system like Ancestry, bam. Because whoever kidnapped them, if they really just think about it, they both black. If it's a black family, if they never told them like, hey, you was adopted, they probably would never do Ancestry, But if they say, hey, like you are adopted, they probably would use Ancestry to find their family.
Right.
Or they probably already did it. We don't know if Alice and Rosa, if you never did Ancestry, you should go do it. And Rosa, she's a strong woman. Like I was reading on her story. She fought breast cancer twice and survived it. Like, girl, strong woman. I just want them both to find their sons and just give them a big hug.
Right.
I'm just like a big softie. But guys, tell us your theories. I'm going to put like a little, what is it called? Poll in there. Like our theories. And tell me, what do you think happened to these two beautiful little boys? And this is our case. Have I said that already? Okay. This is our case. Please send me your theories and also send me your case suggestions. I am happy to do case suggestions. Please give us a 5-star rating on all podcast platform. Please subscribe to our YouTube. Watch our videos over there so you can see our beautiful faces. And also subscribe, comment, like, hit that notification button. And also go to my wife's TikTok. We have been doing Reddit posts over there. And guys, it's been crazy because my wife keep picking up the craziest Reddits. I'm like, oh my God, lady. Mm-hmm. It's, what is it, Little Bits
Reddit stories.
So please go over there. I will put I have your social medias in our description. So please go to description and go to her Reddit to see. You probably already saw. You like, oh, they're going to True Crime Girls. Mm-hmm. So see you next week and happy 4th of July.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. No drinking and driving.
Make sure you keep all your fingers.
Yes. And this is Lesbian Detective. Don't forget, everybody's a suspect
until proven innocent.
Bye.
Lesbian detective. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Live right now. Lesbian detective. Lesbian detective. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready to go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the lesbian detectives.